doctorate in voice, and her thesis was in the changing male adolescent voice. So you can't get somebody more ideally suited to lead our course. She does a fantastic job. One of her talents is that she can take somebody and says, you know what, I can't sing a note. And she gets them to not just sing a note, but sing many notes and then sing in a chorus. So if any of y'all are wondering if you have that talent or not, give it a try. You might be surprised. And that kind of is the theme of today's talk. Today, I'm really excited about our speaker today. I had the opportunity last night to spend some time with Chef Jet Tila. Let me tell you something. He is a really amazing guy. He's one of the few people that you get to meet in life that began from very modest beginnings, but they're very talented, and they have a vision for their lives, and they have a work ethic to apply to all that. And so from a humble beginning, and I'm sure he's going to talk about this, so I certainly won't go into much detail here, but he will. But basically from a humble beginning in LA, Los Angeles, where his family ran a restaurant. In fact, they started they founded the first Thai restaurant in the United States, his family did. And but from rather humble beginnings there, and it wasn't until he was in his 20s that he really developed that passion for food and for cooking and for becoming a chef. And so like some of our other speakers that we've heard this year, I mean, they set the bar really high, and then they go after it. And oh, by the way, that's a theme that we're trying to emphasize with the Corps of Cadets. Set that bar really high. You are pretty darn good at what you do. You can achieve big things if you set your mind to it. And so as a young guy, Chef Tila set the bar really high, and he went to the best culinary school in the world. He applied, got accepted, and he went. How about that? And it's called Le Cordon Bleu. It's in France, in Paris, and he's a graduate of that school. But he identified in his life his passion, which was food, and tying into it his whole culture, a fusion of Chinese and Thai, which is kind of a new culinary experience for me. I'm not sure I've had anything quite like that. And that's one of the cool things about the talk today for the cadets. It comes with a great lunch after this. And we're going to have for lunch today, we're going to have one of Chef Tila's recipes. And it's... Just like Chinese and Thai food, it's colorful, it's spicy, and you're not quite sure everything's in there. And that's what today's lunch is going to be. So anyway, it's our honor to have Chef Jet here today. But as an audience, particularly focused on the cadets now, what I'd like you to try to figure out as you're listening to Chef Jet is, what sets a person apart that they're able to achieve so much? And he has a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of projects going on right now. He owns numerous restaurants across the United States. He's writing a book. He's on TV all the time. He goes out public speaking like this. He's got a family, 2 children. So he's one of these guys that kind of has his act together and is running his life on all 8 cylinders all the time. But he stays calm, he stays relatively stress-free, he's happy, he's optimistic, he's cheerful, he's a can-do guy. Look at that and say, how can I apply that to my life? Everybody's different. But what about Chef Jet can you apply to your life? In particular, identifying that passion. If I were to ask for a show of hands, which I'm not, and ask right now, at the point in your life, how many of you have identified that passion that's going to cause you to be so inspired and motivated to work really hard in high school and college and beyond to achieve that passion? I would guess the majority of you would not raise your hand. And you know what? That's okay. That's perfectly normal. But at some point, you've got to identify if you're going to have a big, successful, happy life. You've got to identify what you want to do with that life. And the sooner, the better. And so for you, that's my advice to you today, to try to get what you can out of this talk today in that particular area. So I'd like to show a short film that gives you a good overview of what Chef Jet's like, and then we'll hear from Chef Jet.
Chef Jet Tila's parents opened the first Thai restaurant in Los Angeles. He learned Chinese secrets from his Cantonese grandmother, and he studied at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris.
He is chef and partner at the Charleston restaurant in Santa Monica, California, and owner of Kuma Snow Cream in Las Vegas. He joins us with his ultimate dish. I love this. Thai drunken noodles. Good morning.
Good morning. Sawadee Cup, as we say in Thailand. How are you?
What are Thai drunken noodles?
Thai drunken noodles, well, it's a dish that I've been making forever. 2 years ago, John De Laurentiis comes into the restaurant, proclaims this the best noodle dish he's ever eaten, and all of a sudden it went nuclear, and now it's got national acclaim, and been awesome. I'm really excited about it. So what you're trying to tasting is their rice noodles as a base, and it's this marriage between Thai and Chinese food because I'm kind of Thai and Chinese. So and you're tasting basil. That's like that finish, you know what I mean? So chopsticks or fork, it doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, you saw it just...
No, not at all. There's no wrong way to
What else did you bring? Is that chicken and waffles?
Right. So, through traveling across America, teaching Thai food and Asian food, I try to pick up the best, local cuisine. So these are the chicken and waffles that we serve at the Charleston. Buttermilk waffle, brine chicken fried in a little compound butter, and then the Asian touch, a little sriracha on top. So you taste in Thailand, we believe in 4 flavors: hot, sour, salty, sweet. All together, the word is yum.
You got that right. They are so good.
Thank you.
A little spicy here. So your parents came to LA. They opened up the first Thai market and the first Thai restaurant, is that right?
In history. So all in the history of America. I mean, all Thai roads lead back to us. I just have birth luck. I mean, I can cook and all that, but I really thank my parents for what they started. So I saw the Thai temple come up, the Thai community, and LA has the only Thai town, recognized Thai town in America. So yeah, I got to see it all.
And you grew up in the midst of that, plus grandma who cooked Cantonese food?
Absolutely. So grandma, and that's why we have Chinese food mixed in.
Was that what made you want to cook, or was it something else?
I promised myself I would never be a chef when I was a kid, and look where I am now. But when the market we had in LA, we had Wolfgang community, we had the Two Hot Tamales community, because at that time, it was all about California cuisine. So we were the only market that had things like lemongrass and kaffir lime leaf, and I saw these esteemed chefs with big whites and toques and all that, and that's what made me want to go kind of formalize my education.
We mentioned earlier that you have 3 world records for, what are they for?
World's largest stir fry, 4,000 pounds. Largest seafood stew, around 6,000 pounds. And the longest California roll on earth at 440 feet.
And what possessed you?
Telling me I couldn't do it, absolutely possessed me. Telling me I can't do it, I'll absolutely do it. Absolutely.
And you're also the first culinary ambassador of Thai cuisine, did I say that right?
Absolutely. So the Consul General, in Los Angeles, Thailand, appointed me the Thai food ambassador. So my job is to kind of curate and find out where all the great Thai food is. And it's not always Thai.
So that means you go Thai restaurant to Thai restaurant to Thai restaurant?
It's a tough job. That's a really hard job. And some of the best Thai food right now in America is being made by non-Thais, which is great. So that means the awareness is out there. And I'm really proud to have this kind of distinction.
That's fantastic.
So if you could have this meal with anyone, who would you have it with?
I would say it would be my grandmother who didn't live long to see all this happen. So I miss her to death. She taught me how to cook, and I wish my grandma was sitting right here with us. That's what I miss.
I'm sure she's watching and she's very proud. If you don't mind, will you sign her?
Oh, are you kidding? Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been amazing.
Chef Jet Tila, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. And for more on Jet Tila and the dish, you can head to our website at cbsnews.com/CBS This Morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Jet Tila.
Wow, nothing is more uncomfortable than watching yourself. It makes me squirm. I'll never get used to it. Good afternoon, everybody. Wow, I just do that for like the next 30 minutes. Colonel Gallagher, Ms. Gallagher, thank you very much for having me, team, everyone from Riverside. It's an honor to be here. Wow, so that was the fluffy stuff, right? It's so great to sit here and stand here and speak to you, because I really wish I was in a program like this from 7th to 12th. Because, as far as I've come, I think I would have gone even further. And for a few reasons. I'm going to speak for a little bit, And we're gonna have Q&A for a little bit. All right? Maybe unlike other speakers, it's gonna be super chill. I don't think the words chill have ever been uttered on this stage.
Wait, Jeff, excuse me, I object. We don't do anything. Scratch that. We don't do anything super chill here, okay?
There you go. It's going to be very formal and informative. That's how we play. But again, I'm here for you. I just want you to know that. I'm here for you. I'm here to give you guidance. I'm going to tell you my story. And if it's something that resonates, then I've done my job. Does that make sense? That's it. Because I am just a kid from... I'll just show you where I'm from. So before all this stuff, before you've already heard the accolades, you've seen the TV shows that I do, right? So currently, that was a while ago, by the way. I look a lot older now, I can tell. So I do 6 or 7 shows on Food Network. So I do Cutler Kitchen, and the Attitude Lounging with Alton. I've done Chopped. I do a bunch of different shows on the network. I'm writing my 2nd book right now, and we're actually giving away a few of these books. So at lunchtime, if you've got a raffle ticket, a few of us are going to go home with it. All right, if you care. If not, donate it. Give it to somebody who wants it. How's that sound? All right. But before the world records, I was born here. I was born in LA. Anyone else from LA? LA, Cali? Cali, what's up, brother? What's up? And LA is truly a phenomenal melting pot. And you know, I've traveled around the world, I've worked around the world, but I've always kept my place there for a few reasons. But before LA, I gotta move fast in it. I gotta get all the good talking points out. But I am obviously from somewhere else. My family comes from Thailand. All right, who's been to Thailand? And who's eating Thai food? You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Because my family started Thai food. I don't take credit for it though, by the way. I really don't. I was a little baby when it all started. But this is the Thailand that most people envision when they travel there or they visit there. But that wasn't the Thailand we came from. This is the Thailand we came from, right? My family is actually ethnically Chinese. My grandparents all born in China. They escaped communism to move to Thailand. So they were immigrants in that country. We opened our first little Chinese cafe there. And then in the 60s, my parents moved here, so we were immigrants here. So there's a lot of assumed entitlement. You watch us on TV, ooh, we wear nice clothes, we roll nice cars, but that wasn't my story. This was my story. This is where my family came from. And then they moved to LA. And I was a mom and pop restaurant kid, right? You ever go to the restaurant, you ever go to an ethnic restaurant, and you see the kid that is doing their homework on the banquette, right? That was me. That was that kid. Because you know what? When you have a family that has very little, and they have 1 or 2 businesses, it consumes them. And I know a lot of you know that because you come from family businesses. You see, I went to school, I did my homework, I fell asleep on the banquette, and then they'd scoop me up at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, they'd drive me home, stick me in bed. 6 o'clock in the morning, get up, stick me in school, and that was my life. And it was restaurants, and it was markets, and then I saw the Thai temple come up. So I was really kind of angry in my youth. I'm like, I was really embarrassed. You know, I was one of those kids that was like, I'm a little nervous because my parents don't really speak English well. We don't have a lot of money. So I had a lot of shame as a kid. And then I realized in my teens and 20s, you know what? All these things were what made me who I am. Right? I speak 3 languages. I'm not ashamed of that. Right? I don't have a lot of money. I grew up rough. And you know, that gave me character. Made me strong. And so that gave me the beginnings, right? So again, this is the temple, this is the market. Let's move on. Let's get happy. Should we get a little happy? So I went to French culinary school. I said to myself, you know, my grandma passed away. She left me a little bit of money. And I'm like, 2 choices. I'm either going to party my butt off and blow that cash within like a month, or I'm going to send myself to culinary school. That was my first fork in the road, right? In my late teens, early 20s. So I'm like, look, I've got to do something with my life. I'm going to go to culinary school. Put myself in culinary school. And it worked. And then I'm like, I'm not done. I learned French food, right? I want to learn more. I found something that I was good at, so I went to Japanese cooking school after that. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I still have a poor chip on my shoulder. right? I do, and I always will. But that motivated me to want to be better than any other kid, first in school, then in French cooking school, then in Japanese cooking school, right? And it'd be like that. Kids from the hood can do whatever they want and can make it. So what I did, let's jump ahead. Let's get happy, all right? My first job out of culinary school wasn't in a restaurant. I knew I was going to spend the next 30, 40 years in restaurants. I wanted to do something different. I needed to better myself, right, in another way. I needed to expand my skill set. So I went to the LA Times, literally to the food section. I knocked on the door and I said, I will work for free if you teach me how to write. If you teach me how to how do I get into this newspaper? And they said, all we have is an internship position. I said, I'll take it. I don't care. So I worked restaurant jobs, and then the day I worked at the LA Times. And I did that for 2 years. And so what did that teach me? I guess what was the lesson? It was don't be afraid to do things that are out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to work hard and work for free. Because that was my only way in. There was no paid positions. And subsequently from the LA Times, I was 22, fresh out of culinary school. And I was writing cover stories, like 2 published cover stories. I was on the masthead. This kid from East LA was on the masthead of the LA Times. And I wrote about 20 articles. And that just gave me an entire new skill set for what I do. Because anyone cook, anyone like watch Food Network, by show of hands, anyone remotely interested in the culinary world later, there's so much more than just cooking. Cooking is half the battle, right? And when you get to my age, in your 40s, you gotta progress on. So I know journalism was going to be something that I could take with me when I wanted to maybe get out of the kitchen. All right. So after that, I worked for a really great company called Bon Appetit Management. Right. And one of my first gigs was in this scary place. I was the first team, the first guy that developed Asian recipes for Google. Right after post IPO. Yo, I didn't get any IPO money. I'd be rolling like big time, right? If I had the IPO money. So, the tech sector was booming at that time, right? Cisco, Yahoo, all these big companies were bringing engineers in from around the world. It was a very international community. They wanted to keep people happy on campus, so they needed Asian food. And my boss at Bon Appetit was like, hey, who can develop this program? Because we need to do pad thai and chow mein now, not for 100 or 300 people. Cisco campus at its peak, we're feeding 20,000 people for lunch. 20,000. So they were like, how do we scale? Who's got the knowledge? And you know what? I was like, I do. Did I really? Dude. I don't know. I know how to make Asian food. I've been to school. I've had great schooling, but I didn't know I could do it. So my next lesson was opportunity and timing and preparation. Think about that, right? I had the chance, and you'll hear this a lot in whatever career. Yo, there are those moments where you need to fake it till you make it. But you're not pretending because you were prepared. Places like Riverside will prepare you. The next part is opportunity. And then the third part is luck. Does that make sense? So I did the tech sector for many years. I did all the big campuses. I got my name out there. I started doing a little TV. And then, a few years later, a lot of you are younger. A lot of us older people definitely know who this guy is. Do you know who this guy is? Any cadet there? Anyone know who this guy is? I would be blown away. That's Steve Wynn. And some of us adults, older dudes, ladies, we know who that is. This is the man who modernized Las Vegas. He took Vegas from a place where you would just go gamble to a destination where you have the best chefs in the world, shows, experiences. He was Bellagio, he was Treasure Island, he was all of those hotels. So, cut to 2006. I'm still 30, barely 30, right? I get a phone call from him, Steve Wynn. He's like, Tila, because that's how he talks. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm always respectful. I didn't know who's on the other side of this line, so always be respectful. And they're like, this is Steve Wynn. I'm opening Encore Hotel, and I need a chef. I float in all these, he uses a lot of very colorful words. I float in all these other chefs from around the world, don't really fit the bill. I need you to come cook a dinner, and I want to know if you want to move to Vegas. You know what, I'm like, yes sir, okay sir. But I was like, someone is pranking me right now. This is not Steve Wynn. I am just some kid that, been doing tech stuff and some fine dining in LA. There's no way. This is a global stage. So this is the property I opened, by the way. So the one on the left, right? 5-star, 5 diamond, Forbes rated. We had we had 2 Michelin stars in that hotel. But again, here's how I got that job, right? And this taught me a lot of lessons. I walked into the kitchen, I wrote a menu. I had 2 days. I had 1 entire day of prep, and I had to cook a meal that could demonstrate my capabilities in 45 minutes. To Steve Wynn, the dude's name's on the hotel, right? He's got properties around the world. He's a billionaire. He's a self-made billionaire, plus the executive chef of multiple properties, plus the CEO, the COO. And I'm a kid from LA. But remember, you fake it till you make it. He's like, can you run this restaurant, this hotel, and this operation? And guess what I said? Sure. Heck yes, I can. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. But I know, remember, preparation, I was prepared. I walk in to win, I do my prep. Again, there's this big table of all the executives, right, that have flown in for this. I know I'm number 8, which is a lucky number. It's a good thing going in. But I have no national acclaim. I have no global acclaim. So I go to the table. I walk in. I say, Mr. Wynn, team, I'm Jet Tila. I'm going to be cooking 7 dishes from all over Asia for you. From sushi to Thai food to fine dining Chinese food and then Americanized Chinese, all the way to orange chicken. I hope you enjoy your meal, and I'll come and check on you after the meal. I go in. I send out these courses. So these guys' minutes are planned. I mean, they're planned to the second, kind of like your day is, right? I get it. So I know they're very important people. I send out all the dishes. I walk out 30, 45 minutes. I hit my time. And I go, no matter what happens, thank you very much. It was an absolute honor to cook for you. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to get back on the jet. I might party the night away. They're never going to call me back. But I can put this tasting on, I can sock it away to a life experience. And I walk out. And Mr. Wynn, as I'm walking out the door, says, Tila! Yes, sir? When's your flight? And I was like, tomorrow morning? He's like, no, you're staying. I need you here till tomorrow night. And guess what I said? Inside. Oh, poop. What just happened? I'm not supposed to work here. I'm just a kid from LA. So I realized at that moment, you know what? If I had any fear and decided to decline that invitation, I would not have this opportunity, right? So you can't have any fear. You can be nervous, but I channeled that nervous energy into, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And I did it. And guess what I found out afterwards? Out of 8 chefs from around the world, very established, you would know who they are. I was the only one who walked into the room, made eye contact, and said hello. I was the only one to present my dishes and who I am. And this was the big one for Mr. Wynn, I found out later. I was the only one to say thank you. I was the only one to show gratitude. Right? And all those little things, I mean, the cooking was the deal. Mr. Wynn likes to make money. Do not get me wrong. Right? But those are the things that cost no money that leave an impression your entire life. Right? And those are the things. So I get back in. I go after this 15-hour day. I sit down to dinner finally. I'm exhausted. I've got no more adrenaline. I'm done. I'm spent. I sit down to dinner at one of our restaurants, and I get ambushed by the COO. Mr. Wooden says, Tila, I'm not going to mess around. We've had people here. We've got it was like 90 days to open. We want you to come to Vegas. Right? I need to know right now what your magic number is to move to Las Vegas. So guess what I said? Oh, poop. I'm like, dude, I'm like a 30-year-old kid, and you're asking me to come to Vegas. So someone asked me write your magic number on this piece of paper right now and give me a 3-year commitment. Change your entire life and come to Vegas. How do you do that? Give me some numbers. How do you figure out what to ask for? Give me a formula. So you know what I did? I took my best year in the last 3 years, and I multiplied it by 2. And I was like, yo, that dude's got some cash. I need to multiply that by 3. And I'm like, hoping and praying, and I write my number on a piece of paper, I slide it over to the COO, and he looks at it, and guess what he did? What did he do? He laughed, he scoffed, he was like, whatever you call that. And guess what I just thought to myself? Oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong, guys? I didn't know my value. I undervalued myself. Does that make sense? And that was a life lesson, right? Know your value. If you do a great job, you're the first in, you're the last out, and you care and you're kind. The second part is know your value. That's like the fifth part, I guess. There's a lot of stories there, isn't there? So, but that was the beginning of my 3-year adventure, right? While I was cooking at Wynn Las Vegas, here's the good news. I was getting paid more than I ever got paid in my life. I was living well, working hard. And then a year in, they asked me, Jet, do you want to battle Iron Chef Morimoto on Iron Chef America? And what did I say? Exactly. But I did it anyway. So I walk in. I knew I was going to battle the most fierce Iron Chef in the history of Iron Chef. He was a hero of mine. He's a mentor of mine. And do you guys want to know the secret of Iron Chef? Anyone watch Iron Chef, by the way? Okay, so people always want to know, do you know the dish? How do they have all that stuff ready? Is it really possible? Here's the secret, all right? Don't tweet this. You're going to Facebook Live it, whatever, may get in trouble. But when you go up in Iron Chef, you know it's going to be one of 3 possible ingredients. And my ingredients were what's the worst thing to cook against the best Japanese Iron Chef in the world? Something Japanese. Second, something from the ocean, like sushi. I had to battle Morimoto with seaweed. Yeah, it's basically walking into combat and the dude's got a bazooka and you've got like a butter. You know what I mean? And that's what this is. They set me up. I knew they set me up. So that, if you ever watch MMA or boxing, it's one of those matches where they were going to take the champ and beat up on a chump and make it funny for TV. But I was like, I knew it walking in. So you know what I did? I'm like, no. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to train. I did 14-hour days in the restaurant, and then I did 3-hour training sessions after that for months. I walked into Kitchen Stadium, battle seaweed. I met Morimoto. I said, Morimoto-san, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a giant fan. And he tapped me on the shoulder, and he was like, good luck, kid. Guess what I said? I didn't say, oh, poop. I said, oh, hell no. No. I'm not going to respect this dude for this hour of combat, right? It's going to be combat. And I'm going to go out, and if I lose, I'm going to leave it all at Kitchen Stadium. So 1 hour of combat, 5 different dishes. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to make sushi against Morimoto. And just to put it in his face, and the dude was sweating. Hour later, chairman says, the winner of Iron Chef America is Chef, guess who won? Morimoto won, because it's fixed, of course. But here was the awesome part. The points were 50 to 48. I was that close, right? After the battle, Morimoto comes to me, and you know what he says? He says, Chef Tila, it's an honor to battle. We've been friends ever since. So, I think the secret to my success is I was too dumb to think I couldn't do anything. Does that make sense? I don't ever go on stage and I'm like, yeah, I'm that dude. I did that. Finger guns, whatever. I'm not that guy. I'm still that kid who's doing his homework on the street in the restaurant. It's always in my mind. But at some point, this was that pivotal moment where I had to know my value. And I earned this position. So now in my 40s, I finally figured out that I've earned where I'm at. You know what I mean? So what did that lead to? Iron Chef led to Food Network saying, yo, you're kind of entertaining, and you can cook, and you can communicate. We need you on TV. I'm like, yes, you do. You need some diversity. Let's do this. You need some Asian kid to talk about Asian food and do it right. So that just led to lots and lots of other TV shows. So, again, I do 6 or 7 shows. I've worked with the best. All the people that I grew up idolizing on Food Network 20 years ago are my colleagues now. And to this day, when I'm on set, I will be across from like Rachel or Alton or Bobby, and I'm like, how did this happen? Well, I tell you how it happened. It was just from the first moment of being born to an immigrant family that had nothing. The one thing my father always told me is, it doesn't matter. You can do anything you want. And I got to meet one of my idols. Some of you don't know who this is, but some adults are freaking out. That's Leonard Nimoy. That's Spock. I got to hang out with Spock on multiple occasions. That's LeVar Burton. This is like the Star Trek Enterprise. Like, it's insane. I've hung out with Bourdain multiple times. So that's kind of like the gist, right? Don't be scared. Be respectful, right? I've got another thing that I had a mentor tell me, right? Do one thing like you do everything. Did you know what I thought when I first heard that? What the heck does that mean? That's so like Mr. Miyagi. I don't get it. It's very cryptic, dude. And after 25 years in the business, that meant to me, yo, if I'm going to be a chef, I'm going to be the best chef. If I'm going to take the garbage out, I'm going to do it like no one's ever done it before. If I'm going to sweep the floor, I'm going to sweep the floor like no one's ever done it. It's going to be the cleanest place ever. But if you do one thing like you do everything, it starts to create who you are, culture, your own personal culture. And that starts here, and you're already getting that. And that's why you're very, very lucky. So that's the shortish version of my story. And I really would like to open it up to questions. Does that make sense? So I'd like to know. I know, I can't believe it. I get to hang out with these people. I get paid to do that. It's insane. I hope this is helpful. Is this helpful? Does it resonate? And I'm one of those dudes. You don't need to clap just to clap. I hope that my story was inspiring and insightful. But now I'm going to take your questions. Anything. I have hands there. I have a hand over there.
Chef Tila, we have a question on the balcony. It's to your left.
It's the voice of God. Yes. Yes, sir.
That is how I'm known around here.
There it is. Go for it. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. I'm Cadet Gordon, and I was wondering, which of the three do you consider yourself more, a chef, an artist, or an entrepreneur?
Ooh, you guys cut right to the bone. Y'all got some smart kids here. I would say, I've always said this. I'm not the best. I've never been the best chef in the restaurant. I've never been. I've always been above average in terms of culinary skill. But I've always been the entrepreneur. That's what I've always been. Because, again, in whatever you do, in business, in the arts, in finance, and I'm sure in the military, at some point you need to manage people. At some point you need to make the team, and that could be successful, profitable, whatever. That's what I was good at. So I would say entrepreneur first, and teacher second, actually. Believe me.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, who's next?
Hello, sir.
Hi, sir.
I'm John Paul from Band Company. Yeah. I was wondering, what was the thing that kept you from doing anything else but cooking? What was your drive?
What would I be doing, or what kept me from cooking, or?
What kept you from doing anything else but cooking?
Oh, got you. That's a good question. I'll tell you one thing right now. My brother is a police officer. He's LAPD. And all my friends were either military or police. And that's where my heart really went. That's what I wanted to do. That was my dream. But I think I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I'm 5'6". I'm kind of heavy. Maybe I'll go into culinary. No, the truth is, no matter, I tried to run away from my family for years, right? I guess I'm going to be brutally honest. Can I be brutally honest? I didn't finish high school. I got my GED. Like, I ran away from my family, got my GED, then I went to school. This was the only thing I was really good at. Like, I felt, I love what I do. I love cooking. I love feeding people. I love creating experiences. So that's what kept me doing this always. Because I tried to dabble in other things, but no matter what, this is what I know I was put here for. It was not just the cooking, but the creating and the educating. So that's what I do. That's why I do this. Otherwise, I'd probably be LAPD. I had to be my brother's life. Yeah.
I'm Cadet Eric Elder. How does it feel to be with idols, cooking alongside your idols?
You know, again, there's that kinship from the hood. It feels freaking amazing. Like it really, I still pinch myself. The problem with coming from humble roots is you spend most of your life trying to figure, am I really good enough to be here? There's something about growing up rough. And you need to embrace that and say, I am worth it. I'm here for a reason. So it feels amazing, but it's very humbling. To this day, it freaks me out. I mean, I run through my slides last night, and I'm like, I still can't believe it. So I do, you know what, so again, enjoy every moment. It's not just where you go, but it's the journey to get there. So enjoy that journey, truly. Next.
Sir, we got one up here in the balcony on your right.
Perfect.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Cadet Inkbold from Echo Company. My question is, what drove you to do what you wanted to do? Like, how did you overcome the boundary of fear of uncertainty?
Yeah, that's a valid question. You know what helped me a lot? Mentorship, right? Where you're at today in terms of Riverside, you're always gonna have fear. Right, I think most speakers that have overcome, any adversity, there's that moment in your mind, in your soul, where you're going to be like, I'm really scared. But you need to take that moment and make the decision to take the chance, right? I don't know how to articulate it any other way, but when you feel that sense of fear, you have to say, this is a motivator, and I'm going to do it anyway. And you know what? You're going to fail. You're looking at 25 years of successes. There have been an equal amount of failures, and failing is going to teach you more than succeeding. By the way, the lean years are really going to steel you for the next years as well.
Chef Tila, we have another question from the balcony. Left.
Great.
Hello, sir. My name is Cadet Carson Payton, and I was wondering, what is the best meal that you've ever had, and what is your favorite meal to make?
Got it. The best meal I've ever had. I get really... okay, fine dining, the best meal I've ever had. This is the bougie answer, all right? The real answer is, yeah, I miss my grandma's cooking, but the bougie answer, the answer I'm supposed to give you, there's a restaurant in Chicago called Alinea, and the chef's name is Grant Atkins, and he's overcome throat cancer. Dude was almost dead, and he was still cooking, and he survived. So that was the best meal. 19 courses of food. I mean, I rolled out of there, bro. I'm not a big dude. I was done. But that was the most creative, fun experience I've ever had. And the best meal I've ever cooked, I mean, the most, I was also a big geek in terms of sci-fi. George Lucas would come to my restaurant all the time when I was in Vegas. And that just made me so happy. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, dude, I'm cooking for... So to this day, I'm like, I cook for Ozzy, I cook for Princey, but George Lucas satisfies the nerd in me. So that was probably one of the cooler meals I've ever cooked.
Chef, one more question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I've got time for one more. Yes, right down the middle of it.
Cadet Kerpikov from Echo Company. Is there anything you regret doing in your past life?
Ooh. Yo, I need a lot of therapy for that one, bro. The best answer I can give you, I have a lot of regrets, right? It's what I've done about those regrets. And that takes me to another good point. I think a lot of us will make mistakes. And a lot of us along the way will do things that affect other people. The best thing that has given me peace as I get into my kind of middle age now, in my mid-40s, is whoever I've wronged, nowadays I immediately take responsibility, right? And I make amends. Those are the two things. So when you do, you're going to make mistakes. But your character really is decided upon what you do with that mistake. So own it and learn from it. But I have tons of regrets, bro. I'm going to write a book about regrets. Maybe when I'm older, I will. Riverside Academy, thank you very much for having me.